Hi, and welcome to TeachTown. In this brief video, we'll go through a product overview of our flagship curriculum, TeachTown Basics. TeachTown Basics is a blended curriculum that uses the principles of applied behavior analysis to deliver instruction via computer-based discrete trial training lessons and classroom-based generalization lessons. TeachTown Basics is designed for students who are 2 to 10 years old developmentally, but students of any chronological age can benefit. It targets students with autism spectrum disorders, intellectual disabilities, developmental delays, emotional behavior disorders, and a variety of other learning challenges. In addition, it's aligned to the assessments that matter to you, as well as standards, including the Common Core standards, the ABLES, Brigance, and Battelle. In 2009 and 2014 respectively, the National Standards Project and National Professional Development Center on Autism Spectrum Disorders conducted a meta-analysis of the literature available on students with ASD and evidence-based practices for providing them with instruction. These publications identified TeachTown Basics as the only commercially available product using the principles of applied behavior analysis to deliver scientifically validated instruction. TeachTown Basics is a balanced curriculum, providing instruction across 6 essential domains: adaptive behaviors, cognitive skills, language arts, language development, mathematics, and social-emotional learning. Within each of these domains, the content is broken down across 8 developmental levels. Level 1 corresponds to a developmental age of 2, and Level 8 corresponds to a developmental age of 10. The program as a whole teaches over 1,400 lessons and a total of more than 12,000 concepts. In addition, we use over 50,000 resources and multiple exemplars to teach these concepts. This use of a wide variety of resources and multiple exemplars is one of the cornerstones of TeachTown Basics. It allows us to build students' capacity to generalize skills, even as they are initially acquiring the concept. Now that you have some additional information on TeachTown Basics, let's get into the online program and take a closer look. Here we have the TeachTown Basics home screen, the initial screen you'll see each time you log into the program. On this dashboard, you'll see your list of students, as well as information on their participation in on-computer lessons and generalization lessons. One of the great things about TeachTown Basics is that you can customize the program entirely to fit your student, or you can have them work on the program just as it is, and the data show that your students will make great gains either way. Let's first take a quick look at some of the ways we can customize the program for our students under the Current Student tab. We're going to focus on 3 of these features: adjusting student levels, set errorless learning, and IEP goals. With Adjust Student Levels, we can increase or decrease the difficulty level of the lessons our students work on for each individual domain. For example, we can make language arts a little bit harder and make math a little bit easier. With Set Errorless Learning, we can start our students' lessons in errorless learning mode within one or more domain to provide more supportive instruction. And finally, IEP goals. This feature allows facilitators to input students' individual IEP goals, select lessons that align to those IEP goals, and run sessions that specifically target these lessons. Let's start by creating a new IEP goal and then explore the ways to add lessons to that goal. Our students' IEP goal name will be identifying colors. And the goal will be, student will receptively identify 10 common colors. External code allows us to input any codes a school district might use to categorize goals, and we can set the goal's status as current for goals we want to work on right now, or on hold for goals we want to work on later in the school year. We can also change previous goals to discontinued if we no longer want the student to work on them. Once we have inputted the IEP goal, we can start adding lessons that target the same concept. First, we type keywords related to the concept into the search box. Then we scroll through the lessons that target the concept, in this case, colors. I can see whether a lesson is above, below, or at my student's current level in that domain. I can also click on this icon to bring up additional information about that lesson or to preview it. I've decided I want to add these 3 color lessons, colors 1, 2, and 3, to my student's IEP goal. I can click on them and move them over to the box on the left. Once I've gotten them all in the box on the left, I can decide the order in which I want the student to work on them. When I have the lessons in order, I can go back to the IEP goals page and add more goals. To have my students work on lessons related to their IEP goals, I can go to the home page and click on Quick Start. Quick Start lessons will automatically target any IEP goal lessons I have selected for that student. If I have not selected any IEP goal lessons, Quick Start will target Facilitator selected lessons and then Computer selected lessons. I can also go to the Start Student Session tab and select IEP goal lessons. From there, I can choose which IEP goals I want my student to work on during that session. After my students work on IEP goals, I can go to the Reporting Center and select reports that detail the progress they've made on IEP goal lessons. Now let's take a look at the Curriculum tab. Again, we see several features under this tab, but the 3 that we want to focus on are Computer lessons, Facilitator selected lessons, and Generalization lessons. When we click on Computer lessons, we can explore and preview all 800 plus computer-based lessons in the program. This gives us a clearer picture of what our students are working on during lessons. We can even search for specific terms, like number. And all lessons addressing numbers will come up. Likewise, we can click on Select Domain and view the lessons from a specific domain, such as language arts. We can even click down to narrow our search to even more specific types of lessons. TeachTown is unique in that the computer selects lessons for the students to work on based on their previous progress. And we have a Facilitator selected lesson option that allows teachers to choose specific lessons for students to work on. Under Facilitator selected lessons, we as teachers can search for, preview, and select specific lessons for our students based on their areas of need and the skills we are targeting in our classroom. Back under the Curriculum tab, we can also view the Generalization lessons. When we click on Generalization lessons, we access lesson plans for the 400 plus classroom-based generalization lessons, including those specifically recommended for each of our students. Also under the Generalization lesson option, we can take data on our students' performance using the Generalization lesson assessment. For example, we click on an individual lesson, and the assessment status for that lesson comes up for each of our students. This assessment is conducted by directly observing students performing the targeted skill in the natural environment. We then record data on their accuracy and the level of prompt they require to be successful. Let's head back to the home page. Now that we've discussed how to customize the program for our students, we can start a student session by clicking here. And we can see how quickly our students engage with the program and how independent they can be working on it. Here we are in a student session. Each time a student begins a new session, they will see the TeachTown town map and be given a selection of buildings to enter. Because we focus on ABA strategies like pivotal response training, we build in frequent opportunities for students to make choices like this one.
Welcome to TeachTown.
Once the student begins trials, they will be given auditory directions and will have approximately 10 seconds to select a response.
Open?
Here's an example of one of our object location lessons in which students find specific items in a larger scene.
Where is the sign that says open?
Superb.
Make a choice.
Throughout the session, the students will be given a choice of 6 reinforcers. These reinforcers include short social skills videos and engaging cause and effect games. The reinforcers last for 30 seconds before returning the student to the lesson automatically.
Sort the foods
Here's
into ones that are good for your teeth and ones that are bad for your teeth.
The trials are carefully structured to teach students the targeted skills and also build capacity for generalization. The trials include multiple exemplars of the target concepts. For example, we see many types of food here, not just one.
Make a choice.
This is another reinforcer available in the program, this time one designed for older students. Teachers have the ability to select which reinforcers are most appropriate for their students to promote greater individualization and engagement.
Spell the word
This is
move.
one of our sequencing lessons that targets spelling. Our lessons use multiple auditory instructions, such as spell the word move or can you spell move, to teach students to respond to varied cues.
That is great
Correct
work.
trials are also followed by a starburst and verbal praise.
Find the black rectangle.
Here is one of our receptive label lessons, focusing on shapes and colors.
Find the black
We realize
rectangle.
that the skills targeted by the program will be difficult for some students, and they'll need extra help to be successful.
Find the
When
black
students make several
rectangle.
errors in a lesson, the computer automatically begins a prompting sequence that starts with fading incorrect answers, then removes some of the distractors,
Touch the pink
and finally
circle.
moves to errorless learning if needed. This system ensures that your student will experience success
Touch
with
the
the
pink
skill, and then
circle.
scaffolds their learning back up to performing the skill independently. Since
Touch
this
the
student
pink
has already made
circle.
several errors, even with additional help, the computer is moving them toward errorless learning now.
Touch the black rectangle.
Good paying attention. Good night, TeachTown.
Finally, we recognize that transitions can be difficult for students. To make the transition easier, the scene will dim at the end of your student session, the student will hear "Good night, TeachTown," and they will no longer be able to click within the program. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about TeachTown Basics. When you're ready for additional information, feel free to visit us at www.teachtown.com or contact us at info@teachtown.com or 800-283-0165.